On the 18th of July 2014, I climbed Monte Rosa, the highest summit in Switzerland, with my husband, Dave. Collectively, this mountain has two summits, both in excess of 4,000 metres. The lower of the two peaks is Nordend, at a height of 4,608 metres. The higher summit is Dufourspitze, at a height of 4,634 metres. The east face of Monte Rosa is the highest mountain wall of the Alps, and the second highest summit in the Western Alps. If Dufourspitze is undertaken from the Monte Rosa hut on the Swiss side of the mountain, there are two route options. The normal route is the most popular and is a long stretch from hut to summit. The other alternative is the Western or Sattel ridge, which is technically more difficult and involves exposed climbing on rock and ice. Our choice was the Sattel ridge, which was a sensational Alpine-style ascent, moving together and using running belays. This year, on the 19th of July 2024, we decided to go for the other second highest peak of this mountain, Nordend. It was a soul-searching event.
We're above that little lot. God, if we'd slipped on there, straight over that edge. Jesus.
So without further ado, let's go!
That was scary.
To access the Monte Rosa hut from Zermatt, which we approached by train from Tash Station, we took a ride on the Gonagrat Railway, which is an amazing experience in itself and very popular. Disembarking at Rotenboden station, there are two paths to the hut, both of which are very long, and both involve glacier crossings, so ice axes and crampons are necessary on the approach.
Here we go, Monte Rosa hut. Let's stop.
The view from the train station is spectacular. Facing you are the giants of Switzerland, including an excellent view of the Matterhorn. Just having some lunch. Monte Rosa. Following on is Liscum, Castor and Pollux there, and the spiky, very juicy looking one up there is the Brighthorn. The Matterhorn, fickle creature.
Well, we've reached the glacier.
The higher path to the hut involves the most spectacular glacier crossing I've ever experienced. This path may sometimes be closed if the crevasses are open.
En route to the Monte Rosa hut.
There are marker posts to guide you across the chaos of the glacier.
Some
Wow!
some place, and there's still remnants of the desert sandstorm that blew up and dumped a load of Saharan sand up here. I'll just make out the hut now.
This is the most fascinating glacier I've ever stood on. It's amazing. Let me show you. I mean, look at that. Look, trying not to fall over into a crevasse. Wow. And there's Monte Rosa. Whichever route you choose to take to the hut, both are long and involved, with glacier crossings and protected sections to negotiate. Thankfully, the views are amazingly diverting. Otherwise, it might start to feel like you're never going to get there.
The big circuitous route to the Monte Rosa hut, which you can just see across there. Not far to go now. After a long hike.
Well, it takes some getting to, but this is one hell of a setting. That is Liscombe, and then we have Castor and Pollux that look almost like pimples compared to the rest. And then behind that dark rock is the mighty Brighthorn, and then the pièce de résistance, the Big M, the Matterhorn. That buttress we were looking at. Which buttress was it? That one?
That one, I think. This one, I think.
So in either case, we're not going up it.
That buttress there, it doesn't have snow on it then. I think you're going underneath that way. Cut left. Right, this is the Monte Rosa hut.
So that's the helicopter you can hear in the background, but we're just having a bit of a recce. Work out our route for the morning. Very important reconnaissance. I'm going to put the camera down now because I might slip on these slabby rocks.
That's your feet.
Amazing how far you can get just 10 minutes from the hut. So down below us is the Monte Rosa hut. See if I can zoom in on that. There is the Monte Rosa hut. And our dinner awaits. It wasn't a good night. I was kept awake by the kind of sound and smells that made me want to run screaming out of the dormitory. So 2 a.m. wasn't a problem. I couldn't wait to get out of there. But it's always worth it when the sun rises. The experience of an Alpine sunrise is beautiful beyond expression.
Quite high up, camera died before, so first bit of filming I've been able to do. Can't be far off sunrise now. Hard going after not much sleep.
The snow architecture on this route is astonishing. Upwards we climbed towards the col, passing the route to Dufourspitze, which we had taken 10 years earlier. We approached and started to cross the exposed summit ridge, but the conditions didn't feel right. A sheer drop on one side and an unstable and unprotected cornice on the other. The path was barely wide enough for one boot, and after crossing one section which would only accommodate the very tip of our crampons, we both decided that this was too dangerous. Only one party of 2 people were ahead of us, and having summited, they were walking back towards us along the exposed ridge. One member of that party was terrified, and she was screaming at us as we met on the ridge. Despite my nerves, I tried to calm her, and we passed each other. Her climbing partner calmly stepped back, and Dave and I stepped up into the cornice slightly to allow her passage, and then we retreated.
There's the summit. We got within, well, that col, maybe 50 metres, not even that, maybe 30 metres from the cone. We just got into that col and then had to call it off. Both of us just not feeling it today. You can maybe just make out there the final summit, seriously exposed cornice, and neither of us just had the appetite to do the last 30 metres, so pulled back, we're down, no mountain's worth a digit. There's the peaks, beautiful morning, sun just glinting over the horizon, nice place to be. And a long hike back down, and there's the summit of Nordend, one that was just a bit too much today. Anyway, beautiful day, beautiful walk to be had still. People on the fixed ropes over there of Monte Rosa, just coming down into the col. There's Nordend. Well, that's what we're above. Heading for the summit. We're above that little lot. God, if we'd slipped on there. Straight over that edge. Jesus. Whew. That was scary. There's a bit of a 360 coming up. Starting with Nordend and Monte Rosa. Winding around. Pollux, Brighthorn, finally the Matterhorn. That's the 360 just as the sun's come up.
Although we failed to attain those last few metres to the summit, we didn't sulk about it. We enjoyed the route back to the hut, revelling in the landscape and the warm sunshine. Could we have safely summited? Probably, but had we slipped on that ridge, there was no way to protect ourselves from falling. We could see no rock spikes to place a runner under the snow. From hut to summit and back to the train station is a very, very long day, so we were more than happy to catch the train and join Patrick for a few beers.
Absolute concentration on the face of life. Saying goodbye to the Monte Rosa hut again. What a sublime walk out we've got. Back to the Rotenboden to catch the Gonegrat, back to Zermatt. Can't grumble too much. We will be though by the time our feet start aching in the next 3 hours.
On descent we chose the other route, which drops much further down before joining the Gorner Glacier, and then climbs back up to join the path from Rotenboden. It's a beautiful walk, so I hope you enjoy the return journey.
And even more beauty ahead. Wow, just look at this. There's a 5-foot light. We're back on the glacier, and they're not always the tidiest things, are they, when you look at them? Right, just look at this. Glacial meltwater cascading down. Certainly keeps on giving this walk.
Nobody likes to fail, do they? We ask ourselves afterwards if we should have been braver. Sometimes we try to justify our decisions by pointing out the what-ifs. Was the unusually excessive snow covering some rock spikes which we could have used to protect ourselves? Or is this particular summit ridge always really exposed despite the grade of the route? Maybe we're getting older and more cautious. Others made the summit that same day and we did not. How do we know when we should turn back? Climbing at altitude can be an addictive activity. How often can addiction cost lives? So many questions. What I do know is that by the time we had that beer with Patrick, we were feeling fit, happy and glowing just like the sunrise that morning.
Nearly back to the station. Here's the train to Zermatt.
Well, that's our train, so I'll leave it here. Thanks for watching everyone, and please do comment and let me know your thoughts on this video. And if you'd like to subscribe, it'll make my day. I'll be back soon with more footage from this beautiful part of the world. Until then, cheerio!